What's going on, everyone? My name is Mandeep. Welcome back to another amazing episode. Today we have with us Connor Kelly. Connor Kelly is an absolute beast when it comes to selling real estate and pumping out content. Connor, thank you for doing this.
Of course, brother.
Where are we today?
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Today we're at one of my listings. It's 371127 2240th Street in Cottonwood, Maple Ridge. We had an accepted offer on this earlier in the month. It collapsed, and this is the second accepted offer, and we've got subject removal on it today. So today we're here with the inspector doing an inspection.
Awesome. And we'll check out the place in a second as well. But before we do, I just want to ask you a couple questions out here. So before you became a realtor, what were you doing?
Yeah, I was a plumber, Red Seal plumber. Did that for about 8.5 years. And just found that it didn't matter how much money I made.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough hours in the day to work enough to make the amount of money that I actually wanted to make.
For sure.
And I was already doing so much plumbing, 80 hours, or not 80 hours, maybe like 60 to 70 hours a week of plumbing,
okay.
Right? And you know, my two options were completely rip my life down to the studs, go do something else,
Yeah.
or start my own business and do even more plumbing.
Yeah.
So not to
Okay.
put down plumbers or anything, but it just wasn't for me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I just
absolutely.
I didn't like the kind of work, so was always super passionate about real estate. I own a couple properties myself, so.
Is that why you got into selling real estate? Selling real estate is not an easy job as well.
No.
It's sales, right? Sales is obviously one of the toughest jobs. And I think that if you're in a 5-year span, I think 80 or 90% of realtors just quit. They're like, we're done.
Yeah,
with
I
this,
think
right?
it's like 95 in the first 5 years or something
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So what was the reason you wanted to become a realtor?
I was just passionate about it, man. Like I followed, like I've always been super into, you know, studying educational content on YouTube, podcasts, books, everything. And what I found is all the people that I followed were realtors.
Okay.
So all these big time real estate investors and blah, 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 they were also realtors.
Yeah.
So I just figured that was probably the easiest step into getting into real estate investing, which I
Yeah.
guess was actually my passion, was to just become a realtor.
For sure.
Because if you're a realtor, you see all the deals firsthand in the market. You know
Absolutely.
what's a good deal, so you can pull the trigger on it right away.
So were you
Right.
an investor in real estate before you became a realtor?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I see. And then, okay, so I guess the next question is, what type of investments do you like? Cash flow or appreciation or?
Initially, I liked cash flow, so I have 2 cash flowing properties, but going forward, I think I'm going to be investing more in appreciating markets.
Okay.
Just because the cash flow game is, you're never going to own enough cash flow real estate to be financially free. So,
In Canada.
In Canada.
It's tough.
Right. In the States, you know, there's ways around it, and you can partner with people and do all these joint ventures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sure, you could do it here as well, but you know, the bank, getting loans and stuff like that when you're at a certain number of properties is really difficult in Canada. But also cash flow is just super slow for actually building your net worth.
For sure.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I see. Sweet. Let's go check out this place. Is it cool if we go?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go take a tour of it.
Hey.
What's happening, man?
Yeah, you know.
I do know.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So this townhome is the best townhome for sale in Maple Ridge, in my opinion. Corner unit.
Yeah.
It's got tons of natural light.
Yeah.
And it's got a nice square layout, right? It's not one of those skinny rectangle ones that's, you know, 3 floors up kind of deal. It's just a nice open layout, tons of natural light.
Yeah. I
So
like the design.
Yeah, it's nice, and I'm surprised it didn't go sooner, to be honest.
For
but
sure.
Market isn't great right now, obviously.
So how important is it to get an inspection?
How important is it? I think it's very important to get an inspection. You know, even in new build homes where you think, hey, everything's brand new, I don't need an inspection. I've seen some nightmares. You know, drywallers putting a nail through a pipe behind the wall and it doesn't show up till 3-4 months down the road. If you had an inspector in there with a moisture meter or something like that, then you'd probably find that.
That happens quite a bit. That actually happened to a house that I built where the drywallers came in and they put their screw in right into the pipe, and there was just water dripping for probably about 3 or 4 months. And there was black mold on the baseboard at the bottom.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't figure out what it was.
Absolutely.
Had to rip it all open, and then there you go. It was a screw going right through the pipe.
Yeah, so it happens. So
Yeah.
I always recommend people to get an inspection, regardless of the age of the home. Yeah.
And then in terms of like how many inspections you're doing for your buyers this year compared to last year, is it a lot more?
Pretty much, I think I did 2 inspections last year, and
Yeah.
pretty much every offer I write has an inspection in it now. So
Yeah. And for the viewers out there that don't know why that is the case, can you just explain?
Yeah, the market was extremely hot last year. I remember at one point there was like 4 townhomes for sale in Abbotsford. So obviously when you have 200 buyers competing over 4 townhomes, the buyer that leaves the inspection clause out of their offer, that offer isn't getting thrown in the trash. Right? So because the demand was so high and supply was so low, you pretty much had zero chance of buying a property with those clauses in your offer.
Absolutely. Let's check out the rest of the place. Let's go up to the bedrooms.
So this is about 1,300 plus square feet. I think it's 1,315 square feet.
Nice. How many bedrooms?
It's 3 bed, 3 bath, double car garage downstairs, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay. And what is the strata here?
I think it's 237 bucks.
Pretty actually affordable.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like this was, you know, one of these townhomes sold for $1,030,000 back in January. This one's listed at $769 right now.
Damn, look at the value. And for all the people out there that are saying now is not a good time to buy, it's gonna bottom out even more. Talk a little bit about that. Like, you have a TikTok account and I see the comments under there like, no, Connor, you're wrong, right? You're wrong, Connor, you don't know anything, right?
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. Explain why it is a good time to buy right now.
Well, I think it's a great time to buy right now. And I mean, I could talk about this subject forever, but one of the main reasons is that it's a good time to buy is because everybody else thinks it's a terrible time to buy, right? So a statistic out there is 90% of people lose money in the stock market. The reason why that happens is because 90% of people are doing exactly what 90% of people are doing. So if you just do the exact opposite of 90% of people, your chances of making money are 90%. Right?
Buy when there's blood in the streets and sell when there's greed, right?
Exactly, right? And you know, the good investors out there, everybody wants to make an investment and then the next day it just starts going up in price. There's no time period where you're losing money. But that's not realistic. If you're investing like that, that is not a strategy that's going to work over the long term. So you should buy when inventory is high, the market's beaten down, and nobody's interested in buying. And yes, prices will probably keep bleeding out from here, right? But you're never gonna catch the bottom. You only know it's the bottom once it's not the bottom anymore. Right?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And the benefit of doing that is because you actually get to buy something that you want to buy. You're not limited to whatever the supply is on the market. Like in a hot market, you only have 3 or 4 homes that you can pick, and you're only gonna get one of those, and you may not even like that home. That was the case for a lot of my buyers.
Exactly.
Right now, like I'm in this position, me and my wife, we sold like 3 or 4 months ago in Abbotsford, close to the peak, and we're not gonna buy until a year, but we're not sitting on the sidelines. Like we're going every weekend to check out properties. You know, even though we have a rental, a lease for about a year, we're not like sitting on the sidelines. We're getting prepared. We're getting our documents ready, right? My wife just said to me yesterday, let's get pre-approved for whatever we want. And what we're looking for is a 5-acre farm in Langley.
That's awesome.
And you know what we're doing? We're not sitting on the sidelines. So what I'm saying is call your realtor, get in touch with them, you know, create a strategy on how you're gonna get back into real estate. It takes 3 or 4 months anyway, and the bottom of the market could be in 3 or 4 months.
And I think it will be. I mean, like, not that I wanna go on record and make ridiculous predictions, but I just have a feeling that the bottom of the market's probably gonna be sometime in the fall. The reason why is inflation's starting to roll over right now. That's the reason why they're raising rates. There's a whole bunch of buyers sitting around waiting to buy, and the only reason why they're not buying is because they think rates are going to keep going up. But if inflation is rolling over, the Bank of Canada basically has no reason to keep raising rates.
Absolutely.
Right? So I could see the bottom coming in before the end of the year. That's just my personal opinion. I might be completely wrong about that, but that's how I feel.
Absolutely.
Right?
Let's take a look at the rest of the place, and then we'll go back downstairs. So this is the master bedroom. Yeah, Zach, check it out.
Nice big double car garage. It's not very many of these, only a couple in the complex here.
That's a beautiful townhome, and I hope they remove subjects today. And Connor, so I have a question for you. What is the craziest thing that you've seen on inspection?
It was actually on my own listing. So I had listed a house in Guildford, and what the inspector found was that I guess the whole slab in the house was sloped. And the foundation was cracked. The sidewalk at the side of the house had completely detached itself from the house, was sloping, cracked everywhere. So there was obviously some water ingress into the foundation of the home, and just overall water sitting against the side of the house, which is probably the #1 thing that I wouldn't want to see in an inspection. I don't know if there's anything worse than that.
Yeah, I agree. I've been in a situation where there was a house that we were looking at and there was a slope on the back, and literally right down the middle there was a crack, and you can tell that the house was starting to move down that way. So that's probably one of the things that I would never want to see. Let's go back to the importance of having an inspection. Like, those are some things that a buyer just wouldn't be able to determine on their own. You gotta hire a professional to look at those kind of things.
100%.
Right?
I mean, probably like $500 for an inspection. You're buying a $1.5 million home, even an $800,000 home. It's worth every penny, in my opinion.
And you're a crypto guy as well, right?
I am a crypto guy.
Yeah, nice. Me too. I love crypto, man.
Yeah.
Crypto is getting devastated right now.
It's getting devastated.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I first got into crypto in 2017.
Me too.
I was young. I was like 22. I put in $8 grand, and at the height, I had like 135,000.
Damn.
But I got sucked into the market sentiment that things were going to keep going up. It was going to go up forever. Oh, the institutions are coming in, and all this stuff. Ended up not selling, rode that baby all the way back down to, like, I literally think like the $8 grand I put in was worth exactly $8 grand at the bottom.
Yeah. And for the people that are out there, they don't know that there's actually a cycle that happens every few years, right? The halving cycle, right?
Yeah.
So are you still bullish on crypto?
100%.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Is it now a good time to buy Bitcoin?
I think now's a great time to buy Bitcoin, but if you have 10 grand, I wouldn't put in all 10 grand.
Yeah.
I would put in 2,000. Wait a month, wait a little bit, put in another 2,000, and that protects you. If prices keep going down, you buy more and drop your average down.
Yeah, so pretty much what you're saying is dollar cost average into the market.
Dollar cost average into the market.
That obviously is a great strategy for small amounts, but like you can't really do that for real estate. So what about the people out there that are like, man, I know that Connor and Mandy are wrong, the market is gonna go down more. Like, what is a good indication that the market has bottomed in real estate? Like, I haven't even actually thought about that, but like, what would be a good indication?
I think a good indication would be that inventory is coming down and sales are rising, right? That's like the golden cross in real estate, right? Once sales ratios start picking up.
I see, so inventory coming down and sales
picking up, right? Because that will push up prices. I mean, those are the two most important metrics. That's basically demand and supply right there,
I see,
right? So once those metrics start inverting like that, that's typically a bottom indicator, and I'm starting to see something like that forming in Langley. Langley condos, but it's obviously too early to tell. We only have 1 month worth of data. But inventory's down 10% and sales actually picked up, and sales ratios went up in the month of July.
Today, after this, I'm going to show my buyers some houses in Abbotsford, and I had about 9 that I was scheduling, and I kid you not, 4 out of those already had accepted offers. So a lot of people, if the house is actually priced well, they're getting offers. Right?
Yeah.
It was like accepted offer, sold.
Yeah.
So people are coming back into the market, and that's what's really gonna create that curve, and then we're gonna see that bottom.
Exactly.
Connor, I have a question for you. Why did you choose Stonehouse Realty?
Honestly, man, I interviewed a couple brokerages, and what I found from Stonehouse was I know everybody says this, but I just really like the culture.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of young hustlers there. I noticed all the agents were on social media, and it's just the culture is just very Miami Heat in 2020.
Yeah, hey?
Right?
Okay, so I guess the question is, how important is it to hang out with people that are making so much more money than you?
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, right? You're not going to be able to lift yourself up to that next level if you're not around a bunch of people who are doing it, because then you feel left out. But if you're hanging out with a bunch of people who are underneath your, I don't know, I don't want to sound like a dick or anything, but underneath your tax bracket, then naturally that's just going to drag you down because you feel like you're already winning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But in reality, you're not.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And Stonehouse has become a giant in this industry. And for one of the reasons that you said, because, actually Sean Zuber, who is the owner of Stonehouse Realty, has done an incredible job of hiring these amazing agents. Like, we have some big time players there, and I know a lot of those guys. That's probably why, right? Like, he got these people to join the movement, I guess, kind of, right?
Totally, and people are backing it. Like, I'm biased, I've only ever been at Stonehouse Realty, but I fully believe in it. I know Sean's vision for the company, I know his 5-year plan and everything, and there's no reason why he isn't gonna do it, because he's done all these other things in his life, right? And You know, he's just he's a realist, I guess, right? He doesn't sugarcoat anything, very upfront with you about everything, but in a way that's nice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Where do you do most of your work? Is it Abbotsford, Langley, Surrey?
It's mostly Langley and Maple Ridge.
Langley, Maple Ridge, okay, I see. And you're from Abbotsford?
From Abbotsford.
Can you talk a little bit about how important it is to prospect?
It's probably the only thing that's important when you first get into real estate. I mean, if you've been in the industry for 5, 6, 7 years, you might be at a point where it's just mostly referral based, but in the beginning, prospecting is absolutely everything. It's pretty much the only thing that matters in the beginning.
And so when you became a realtor, like day one, after you wrote your course and everything like that, what did you do to get clients?
So I was making 50 to 75 cold calls a day. I'd go door knocking 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I did a couple deals from doing that. But what I started doing after a couple weeks in the industry, because of a course, I did the Grant Cardone course. And he basically said you need to find a way to break out of obscurity, which means you need to get people to know who you are.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
And I knew, because of listening to Gary Vee, that TikTok had the highest reach out of any of these platforms. Right? So I started making TikTok videos 2 a day, and after about a month and a half of that, suddenly the phone started ringing, and now I'm at a point where all of my prospecting is social media based, and I don't make calls or door knock or do anything like that anymore. Now it just comes 100%, I don't want to say passively, because I still I work really hard on my social media, but I don't have to actually search for prospects, they come to me, right?
And you have a massive following on TikTok as well. You have 17,000 people following you on TikTok.
Yeah.
Right? The algorithm in TikTok is really pushing like people that are pumping out content. Talk a little bit about just going off the cuff. Like I know all your videos are just like, hey, all right, I'm right here, I'm doing this, right? How important is it to do that?
I think everyone will find their own way. The thing that I like about off the cuff is that it's so authentic. It's so authentically you, right? When you don't actually have to plan out a video, do it in 500 takes, blah, blah, blah. If you're like, hey, what's up? This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing today. You screw up and you keep going. People, it's easier for them to trust you because they know you're not being fake. You're not putting on a facade. This is actually who this guy is, right?
And were you scared of doing those videos?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So
then why'd you do it?
I just knew that was a fear and I had to conquer it.
And were there people doing that kind of stuff already around you, or?
There was, but they were doing it a bit differently, right? Like they were editing their videos. They were almost shooting them like YouTube videos.
I see, okay.
And I think I was kind of the first person just come out, in this market anyways, to come out and just be like, yo, what's up guys? This is what's happening in the market today. Just like super crude off my phone. And I think the market was really lacking that rawness.
Do you ever do any door knocking now?
Only when I have listings in the area. I might door knock and be like, hey guys, open house, come check it out. Or, hey, just sold your neighbor's house, blah, 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 blah.
Right? That's a great way of getting in there, right? Yeah. I have a challenge for you. Could you make a TikTok right now?
100%.
Let's do it.
We're gonna talk about that bottom thing we just talked about. You want in on this?
Yeah, I'm down, man. Let's do it. Let's see what you say, and then I'm just gonna roll with it.
All right. What's up, everybody? Me and Mandeep here. And I just want to talk to you guys about the bottom of the market, what it looks like. So typically what I think the bottom of the market's going to look like is basically when sales, the amount of sales happening, starts going up and the inventory starts coming down. Because that in itself is basically supply and demand. Once you see those metrics start to invert, that's typically a bottom signal. And we're starting to see that in Langley condos right now.
Money, done. And you know what? The importance of doing it that quick and just putting it out there, the same thing that Grant Cardone does, right? Is like you're not being like a procrastinator. You might save that video and you might put it away and then you might save it for that day or something like that. But instead of doing that, you just put it out there. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think it's very easy to stay consistent because it doesn't require a lot of time to continue doing that. Like that TikTok took what, 30 seconds? How many of those, I could literally post everything on that I need to post in social media on 5 minutes every single day. It's sustainable, exactly.
You pretty much have your own TV channel in your pocket. Like the power of that is incredible. Like anyone out there that is becoming an entrepreneur, and the person that talks about this is actually Gary Vee. He says for 10 years, if you start a business, you need to just be logging what you do on a daily basis because people want to see the journey.
Yeah, documenting, not creating.
Yes, exactly,
right?
Documenting.
A lot of people think of content as I need to create content. I need ideas to create content. start thinking about it as I'm documenting, right? That right there was documentation. I'm talking about how Langley Condos could possibly be seeing a bottom signal right now, right? That's documentation. And then in 2 months when I'm wrong, everyone's gonna absolutely shit on me, but that's the way it is, right?
I mean, any type of attention, honestly, in my opinion, is good attention. I made a video recently of this guy, Dan Lok, and everyone was like, yo, you're crazy, this guy's a scam artist. The point of making that video and going to that room was to hang out with people that are similar to me, right? Like if you're gonna pay $100 to go see a guy talk, you definitely take your time seriously and you wanna learn something. Like you could learn from anyone. A lot of people were talking shit about that guy, but at the end of the day, Dan Lok has 6 billion views, 6 billion with a B.
Yeah.
That's not something, like that's impressive. That's not easy to do. I have 2.5 million views on YouTube. I'm trying to 10x to 25 million views, right? So
scammer or not, the guy's getting 6 billion views. He has some valuable information that you can learn from him.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Okay, Connor, so I believe that success always leaves clues. I don't believe that you're successful because you're lucky. I believe it's a result of your habits. Like, do you have a daily routine that you do?
I do, and it's a little bit different every day, but typically it looks something like this. Wake up at 5 or 6, eat breakfast while watching an educational YouTube video, go to the gym, come back, then I'm sending off listings and dealing with paperwork and stuff like that for maybe about an hour and a half. Then my day from that point on, believe it or not, is pretty open. I'm either going to showings or dealing with inspections or shooting videos or something like that. Every day is a little bit different for me just because I don't prospect the, what's the word?
The regular way, right?
The regular way,
usual,
right? Or the conventional way, right?
Yeah.
So my days are, my morning routine is generally the same, but after that, once we get in the afternoon, it's different every day.
Okay. And so who's your go-to for educational videos right now?
I watch a lot of guys, man. I watch Meet Kevin, Financial Education. He's a stock market guy.
Oh, I know Meet Kevin, yep.
Yep. But I think it's good to understand what's happening in the stock market, because if you can understand what's happening in the stock market, you will know what's going to happen to the real estate market in the coming months.
Yeah,
right?
You'll be surprised actually how correlated these markets are. Like when we see a bottom in the stock market, we tend to see a bottom in the crypto market. When we see a peak over there, we see a peak over there as well.
Exactly. So, and I like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone.
Absolutely.
Honestly, there's a lot of guys I listen to. I couldn't pinpoint one, but there's probably like 10, 11 guys that I like to listen to on a regular basis.
Nice. Andrew Tate?
I listen to Andrew Tate, yeah.
That guy's an absolute beast. Like people will hate him, people will love him. He's polarizing, but at the end of the day, he's doing exactly what we're doing, and he's just getting a lot more attention.
Exactly. I study what he's done and the way to make it work. I just don't think the real estate board would let me, would let me say.
We would be canceled.
That would be
He can't get canceled.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have an accountability partner?
Accountability partner? I actually don't, to be honest. I've had them in the past, and I probably should.
Okay, do you want to be my accountability partner? Because we both live in Abbotsford?
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, let's
100%.
do it. All right, done. Then we're gonna prospect. We'll do a little bit of door knocking.
Yeah.
I'll call you at the end of the weekend and say how many calls did you hit or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
100%.
do it. All right. And who is your mentor?
I would say probably Sean Zubor and Jordan Parker are my mentors.
Okay.
Jordan Parker is another team lead on Team Zubor, and then Sean basically owns Stonehouse Realty and the team, and those are probably my go-to guys. But I've had a lot of mentors. Like I don't have like one particular person I go to. There's a bunch of people that I call when I need advice and that kind of thing.
Nice, nice, nice. And last question for the video, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I haven't thought that far ahead, but I kind of, by the time I'm 35, I would like to be worth 20 million bucks. One of my big goals is to buy a Ferrari. Like, I'm not a big car guy, but I think it would be totally cool to drive my girl around town in a Ferrari. So.
Dude, that is, I'm the exact same way. I'm not the same way. I'm not a huge car guy, but like I want a McLaren and I want it at a certain time. But before I reach that, I want a certain amount of properties and a certain amount of net worth as
100%.
well. So obviously you do have goals. Do you write your goals daily?
I do. I write them every day.
Same for me too. Every single day. Yeah. Because you really got to get that into your brain.
You do. You have to project that into the stratosphere. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You need to have a clear vision of what you're doing. Otherwise, how do you know the pieces that need to be put together to actually form that that vision that you have? Right.
Exactly. With that being said, Connor is an absolute beast. You're going to see a lot more of him. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next video.
Appreciate you guys.
Man, that was beast.